will take Nikki away. Her soul will wander through the night, and you will never find where her body rests. Nikki, come to me.
That wasn't a man. That was a wolf.
Hey everybody, welcome to 31 Days of Monsters. I'm your host, Graham Nolan. We are on day 8. Today we have a sort of a sleeper film. You know, a lot of people don't know about this one, Return of the Vampire, from Columbia's Pictures in 1943. This was actually going to be a direct sequel to Dracula. But as soon as Universal caught wind of it, they sent their lawyers down, and so Columbia had to change it. And that's where the name Armand Tesla comes from, to change it from Dracula. But it has a lot of Dracula vibes. That scene there where he's explaining to her, you'll never know where your body is, blah, blah. He had a similar scene in the original Dracula. This is I like this movie because of the werewolf. I mean, that makeup is amazing, and it's so freaky that the werewolf is talking. He's got complete, cognizance. He's not, a feral animal. He's like his slave. They never explain that, but you just go with it. This is not Universal's version. This is Columbia's version. So, I think it's really cool though. He looks neat. He acts cool. And when he gets released from his curse, the character has a lot of pathos. You kind of feel bad for him. He doesn't know what he's doing, when he's in his werewolf guise. It cracks me up how much shopping that werewolf can do, though. Every time he shows up, he's got a package under his arm that's wrapped, like they used to do way back when. So he's obviously going to a store looking like that, So, oh, Mr. Wolf, how are you? Yes, your daily package is here. That's all I can think of, Bela is, of course, always good. No matter how bad a movie Bela is in, he gives it 100% every time. And that's what I always liked about the guy. At this point, this is his last film for a major studio. He had been working at Monogram, which is, Poverty Row Films. But, Columbia was still a major studio. And it would be the last film he would do until 1948, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, where he returns to Universal. They weren't going to cast him in that one either, I don't know what it was. For his only second portrayal of Dracula. This movie has a lot of atmosphere. It stands up to the atmospheric feel of Universal films as well. And the fact that they set it in the two world wars, in the beginning it's 1918, and then when he's revived, when Tesla's revived, they're in the throes of World War II and the Blitz and all of that. So that was kind of a neat, modern day twist on it too. So I thought this was a good one. For what it is, it's a B movie, but I like this better than Devil Doll. I thought it was more interesting, moved along quicker. But what do you guys think? All right, let's say hello to everybody here. Cigar Gangster says, good afternoon, everybody. The vampire came back the very next day. Yes, he couldn't stay away, said our Enosh. Chris Juliano says hello to all. And JP Roca asks his eternal question, what's good? Return of the Vampire. That's pretty good. Dr. Mass says he's never seen this one. And he really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's a nice little diamond in the rough, isn't it? Bloody Drake says, hail. Todd Lehman, woohoo. JP Roca says, this is a good movie, especially the civil defense rescue workers, Horace and Chickenhearted. Rob Fellows checking in. Greetings from the land of the salt of the earth Cockneys. Let's shove him in the blinking hole. Buck Benny says, what a great movie. Dr. Mass reminds you all to sign up for the free prequel we've all been waiting for, Shinu 77. More blood on the snow, my friends, even more than in the first one. This is really going to be a badass project. So go sign up. That's the link. Dr. Mask has it there. It's also at the top of the chat. This one here, the QR code, will take you to Escape from Monster Island, which is still accepting funding. And I got a message from them yesterday, as I mentioned to you guys. They're shipping, the tentative ship date is October 31st. Halloween seems apropos, but they're thinking it might ship sooner. So if it does ship sooner, the campaign will come down immediately, and that'll be it. So if you haven't gotten it, click the QR code and get your shit together. Stippling Vaughn literally just finished watching this movie. Oh, I'll bet you did your homework late, too, just before class, Stippling. Hoot and Holler says, this is the best part of my workday. I'm glad to hear that. Michelle Bowers is here. She says hello to everybody. Wait, a female scientist who's also a milady in 1943? I guess so. I don't know what you got to do to be a milady, but yeah, that was the one thing is that, when we're first introduced to her and the two kids and the older scientist, it's not clear whose kids belong to who. And that was one beef I had. I had to turn to Julie. I'm like, no, wait, whose kid is this? And then we finally realized that I think I've even forgotten. I think it's the son that belongs to her, and it was the girl Nina or Nikki that belonged to the older scientist. But that was a little unclear. JP Roca says great ending with the police chief breaking the camera at the end. Yeah, the fourth wall. To answer him, no, I don't believe in to answer him, no, I don't believe in vampires. Yeah, I like that. And Graham is muted. Is that right? Just check down here, see if anybody else says that. No. Okay. Make long, lacy white nightgowns great again. Nothing wrong with that. Miss Stippling is here, and she said, we like this one. Good. So vampires make werewolves now, but great transformation. Yeah, I don't understand what that was all about. Like, okay, so it's another part that was unclear. So he turns him into this werewolf to make him his slave, but why make him a werewolf at all? If he's sort of a surrogate Renfield, what's the point of him turning into a werewolf if he's not really a werewolf in the sense that he's a monster that can help destroy things? He's just this hairy guy who is cognizant, who can speak, and think and plan and all that. I just wasn't sure about that. But I'm not arguing it because it looks damn cool when he's walking across, with his packages across the cemeteries. It's great visuals. Buck Benny says Warren Zevon must have watched this for his song. Werewolves of London. I'm pretty sure he watched Werewolves of London, which we did a few years ago. Merciful Fate made a song of the same name. Not sure if it was inspired by this movie. Lyrics are pretty generic vampire lyrics. Okay. The professor's exposition delivery is something to behold. Stiffest of upper lips. Yeah, the cop, I don't know what the cop had to see to believe anything, he's constantly the doubting Thomas, you know? You can't get him to admit to anything, and even at the end, he's somewhat skeptical. Another thing is that this is the first sound picture to show the vampire melting. They showed him disappearing in Nosferatu, but this is the first time we actually see him like melt, which they would do later on in Christopher Lee films, which I thought was kind of cool. Like he didn't just completely melt down to nothing. It's like part of the side of his head melted and stuff. And you can see the bones through, but Bela's face was still there. I thought that was really neat. It's another example also of we never see fangs. You know, we didn't see him in Dracula. We didn't see him in any of the Universal Dracula or vampire films. We don't get to see fangs until Hammer took it over. Fangs, blood, and tits. Thank you, Hammer. Kino Reviews is here. He says, hail to the chat. Miss Stippling says, in Mexico, there is a wolf-like gene for a particular family. I think I saw that on Ripley's, believe it or not. Yeah, like these hirsute people would get all hairy. I think there was a guy in Guinness Book of World Records that was like that. One of those freak things. Past Master Dan reminds everybody to visit my web store, Compass Comics. Yes, please. And you can go to the sign-up sheet for the Shinu there too. If you go to funding, the funding now, or coming soon, the coming soon page, it'll take you over there. Miss Stippling says, I think the dainty bite marks were a nice touch. I really enjoy the sets. It's a great alternate complement to the Universal House of Dracula and Frankenstein. Yeah, it holds up. I love the war-torn damage, all the busted bricks and stuff. Thought that was cool. Somehow you can knock out a vampire, when they drop the bomb on him. It knocked him out, and the guy dragged him out to into the sunlight and into the rubble. But it didn't start melting right away either, which was kind of weird. I don't know why that was. I don't think they put a lot into the lore of this the way that Universal did. They did a little bit more, thinking about stuff and setting ground rules for, these sort of fantastical ideas. Fearless Freep comes clean. He says, hi, all. Didn't see this one. Got to keep up with my homework. Indeed, Fearless Freep, or you'll have detention. Monster detention. Kino says, I need to make a life-size Shinu for you so you can decorate the back or front yard with it for Halloween or Christmas. Yeah, he can go both ways. Absolutely. Dr. Mass says, did you use StreamYard to create the QR code? Yep. Henceforth, the little duck here. It's a new tool they have. And while you're at it, back Andy Smith's Lilith Infernal Conflict. Yes. Okay. I think maybe Stippling was being sarcastic when he said muted, meaning he was going to mute me for my comment, as opposed to being literally muted from the channel. We got bumped off last night of Billy's channels for the professionals because of our opening. It's got all the guns on it. And it happened to Art too one time. And there's a setting that you have to adjust in your on your YouTube settings, so that doesn't happen. And all of us had done it, but Billy and Art had not, and that's why we got kicked off of. The problem is, I can't remember what the setting was. Somebody had told us what it was, and I had gone in there and done it, and it was a while back, and I can't remember how to do it. So Billy's got to figure that out if he's going to use our intro piece. My dear lady, you simply can't go around the country driving things through people's hearts. Why not? Germans are bombing the shit out of us. Why not? Dr. Mass says there is some lore that connects Dracula to wolves, but not sure about the werewolves. Yeah, right out of Stoker's novel. Dracula could turn into a wolf. He could turn into a rat or a bat, and he had control over those creatures as well. The creatures of the night, what music they make. Leave puppy dog guy alone. He looks cool, and before the lore was figured out. Yet the werewolf had huge fangs. Good point. Kino liked my my thanks to Hammer for fangs, blood, and tits. Yes, it was a nice redemption arc for the werewolf by destroying the vampire, and returning his soul. I got to say, you'll have detention in your German accent voice. You will have detention and you will not draw on your desk. There you go. No, read Ms. Stipling's comment. She muted the stream. I'm a victim of her fiddling with the setup. Aha! Okay. You're off the hook, Stipling. Jasper Plan 9 has just checked in. Hello, Jasper. All right. Guys, we're at the end of our chat there. And I think we've covered this movie. Tomorrow we have our first Harryhausen film. 1961, I think. Yeah, 1961's Mysterious Island. This is a sequel to, it was written by Jules Verne, and it's also a sequel to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. So that's on tap for tomorrow. I have to watch that today. So I'll be doing my homework. I hope you guys will too. And we will see you tomorrow at 12 noon. Same bad time, same bad channel. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you then. Bye.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.